What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. Today, I got a phenomenal guest, a friend, family. Man, if you've seen the episode, me and John Robinson, we were talking about some of the top freestylers in the world. So this guy, without a doubt, is one of those. Also, he's done some great tracks. He's worked with DJ Premier, part of a group of called House of Reps. He's also worked with Beat Nuts. He's worked with so many phenomenal MCs and artists that you know of. Also, he's like a fashion icon. If you follow his Instagram, you don't even want to step outside without checking his Instagram first. He also was a writer on the Lyricist Lounge show, which brings me to this point. That's how long I've known him, since doing Lyricist Lounge. And he has one of the best songs on the Lyricist Lounge album, if not the best song that people always ask me about.
What's reacting impossible? Kill the profitable, constable obstacles haunt me like my future in a hospital.
Let's check him out.
I'ma break this rhyme, say the spot to the bank smile while you go down. Ground quicker than an anchor line, prepare my mind in case they give me the time. Comparing me to you is like comparing bigger to shine. I live for the rhymes.
I'm on a mission, getting this money. I need to stay rich. I got a vision, I'm hungry. I eat the plate quick. Cream of the crop. I hit you with that block raw. Take a sniff of my rhymes. I give you lockjaw. Grab, I be spitting facts, ripping tracks, getting stats, kicking back. From here on, nothing goes down without me. Not a game in the room, not a deal with a key. Real ones are losing, the fake ones are winning. The God is my strength, and the devil is grinning. Lyrics is dirty, you know you ain't worthy. So please, little hater, get off of my...
So, welcome to the show. AL Skills, or AL, all lyrical. You know who it is. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. This is such a great moment for me to see us to where we're at right now from when we started.
Right.
Salute to you. The show's you're a couple episodes in and you're about to just break the net. I love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I sent it to you, and then I send you clips because like you're a pure writer, artist, and everything, and you know where we came from with it. We always been trying to figure out what's the next step. What are we doing? What do we want to do? But also you understood the angle of where I'm coming with it, with this idea and how I want to do it. Cause I don't just want to talk about rapping, writing and stuff like that unless it's interesting. And a lot of people will look at us for having that insight. You know what I'm saying? We have that insight and we can give them a perspective that they're not maybe privy to or understand. So yeah, so I know you're big with the fashion situation, heavy with that. So I kind of wanted to put this show in that line of questioning with fashion and writing lyrics and songs like that. So here's my first question that I was wondering. So when you're putting together a dope outfit, right? How do you compare that to creating a dope verse, right? So like, are you like going like, I need some metaphors here and I'm gonna wear that with the similes here. I'm gonna throw a little, you know what I'm saying? Or throw a little, am I gonna bring the street vibe? And then even on fourth bar, I might say, you know what though? I need to make sure that I rock a little something that kind of shows that I can still get in the club. It's casual. So I'm still keeping it where it need to be, but I can get in the club with this. There's so many dynamics to writing the verse. It's like getting dressed. It's pretty much like getting dressed. So
no,
you know what I'm saying?
I get it. I mean, we'll go back to the basics with composing a verse and how it works with being with dressing it up, right?
Yeah.
It's always going to start with words.
Okay.
So the beautiful words that you use is what I tend to do to write a verse. You know what I'm saying? And there's words that I would never use. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever come across that. We're writing a verse. It's like you reaching. So you get two lines, and then you ask yourself, should I keep continuing doing this type of, this rhyme pattern?
Yeah.
And what words am I using? So I always step into that realm, and a lot of it does with process of association. I try to use, if it's not a topic, basically, if it's a topic, then I'll stick to whatever the topic is.
Right.
But the usage of words is like how I dress my verses, man.
Okay, so like, let's say you're doing a song like about kind of like if you're talking about the streets, you might say, okay, I'm gonna go this route with it because I don't need to maybe sometimes you could wear something that might be you might feel like you step in the spot. It's like, oh man, I'll overdress this, or I got on too much. I don't need to do all that. So when you're writing a verse, how do you know when the outfit is like kind of completed and it's gonna look right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, doing a verse and pertaining to the song, like you said, you don't want to overdo it too much, depending on what the song is about too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for us being lyricists, we always find ourselves the challenge of being the most complex, lyrical, all of that. But as
Yeah.
we learn of doing records, that's only for us. The population might not have the same brain wave to break down certain things. So you have to sometimes dumb it down. But in
Right.
that form, you don't want to dumb it down where it doesn't sound good or it's just too easy. So sometimes the hardest verse for me to write is a verse that's commercial, that's easy, but at the
Right.
same time it got to be witty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are the problems that some artists MCs have because they don't know how to do that. They're like, damn, it's just too easy. You just got to find your pocket and find a way where you're saying something. Oh shit, that line is ill. It's not too out of the way, but
Right.
it was really dope the way he said that. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's about how sometimes it's about how you said it as
also,
opposed to right.
yeah, always on how you say things. I mean, there's so many facets on how to write a rhyme and creating a dope verse. But in my challenge has always been like, okay, how do I want to approach the verse, right?
Right.
And depending on the song, I sometimes I say, yo, I'm just gonna do me, and but you just can't complicate it too much. You can't make it too complex where people don't get it. You have to, like I always think about the crowd when I get on stage and
Yeah.
what are they gonna say? Every time I write a verse, I gotta look at it like I'm gonna perform this song. How am I gonna get this to translate to the crowd? So I put myself as a fan, and I'm saying, okay, this would sound good. This is good, and that's how I construct verses.
I agree with what you're saying. For me, it was always like that vibe of like you remember like the first day of school and you wanted to make sure your outfit was fire. Like that was a big issue like back in the days. And I think till to this day, I always look like writing a verse is like your first day of school outfit. And that's what's always kept me I think at a high standard because I was like this every time I come out with a verse, it's like my first day going to school.
That's
So
definitely a great way to approach it because that first day of school is monumental. That's it. It's like you like, oh word, you're gonna come like that?
yeah,
Okay, you got to come with your A game.
yeah,
And
it set the tone. It sets the tone probably for the first, maybe for the whole year. First of all, the ladies, looking at you, how you coming through, like, okay, dudes is checking your situation out, your sneakers and all that too. They want to step their game up. So that first day of school is kind of crazy. Maybe like the first week of school is kind of like that, right?
the whole
So
week.
so that's how I always thought of writing a verse. Anytime I'm writing a verse, especially if we're gonna be featured on songs with people and stuff like that. I want to make sure that my outfit gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? When I come to school. So that's kind of how I always looked at um writing a verse in comparison to fashion and clothing and things like that. So here's another question I got for you about beats, right? So when it comes to beats, do you prefer to just like get a batch of beats, or do you want this person to like tailor made, measure and everything and make sure that you know, the outfit gonna be straight, so the beat fits you totally. Because there's some producers that could do that, and then there's some producers when you're trying to get the tailor-made beat, they'll send you some because they think this fits you. You know what I'm saying? You ever had that? Like somebody send you a beat like, I think this fits you. So
Yeah,
what's your preference? What's your preference like?
I mean, I basically a lot of the beats that I pick sent to me sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have really nearly never sat with a producer and constructed a beat. Never did that.
Okay.
I would love to do that. That's something I haven't done. But I'm very picky with beats, and it takes only 2 bars. As soon as I hear the beat, once those 2 bars go on, I'm like, I start rapping, it's over. Just the same thing that when we did Live at the Blue Note, when I was in Orlando, I went over to Junior Ali's crib, and they were playing beats. They kept playing beats, and they played this one. As soon as I heard the beat, I was like, yo, who's that? Yo, let me get on that. As soon as I heard the beat, I wanted to rap on it.
To the brain, Kurt Cobain. You can feel the team spirit. I strictly only spit for those who really fiend lyrics. Ball for ball, excellent, like an Audemars, perfect with the timing, so you know every bar's hard.
So, you know, that's what I've been. Only one time I did a song with my boy Divine, and we did it to an instrumental that was, I guess it was a Kanye West instrumental. Right. We sent it to this producer named Navi, and he stripped it, and he did a whole different beat, and we put it out. It's just a song called 2 Stops Away, if you get to check it out on YouTube. But that was one time that we did something like that. It's only one time I ever did that. But you know, there's different ways to approach making a song. But that was a different way to do a song. I didn't know that he was going to do that, because we did it. Gave it to my man. My man was like, he just did it without telling me, and then he sent me the song. I'm like, yo, what's that? That's the song. I said, oh, it sounds dope.
It's ill, man. It's ill how you're explaining it, because you just made me think of another question, because it made me realize like how you're describing it, similar to this whole fashion theme that we're sticking with here, is it's kind of like the fitting room. You try to beat out. So how often do you do that? Do you like, you know, go in the studio or at home and have the beat, and it's kind of like you try stuff on, you try different verses to a beat, and you're like, I don't really, I like the verse. You know what I'm saying?
Recently I did a song with Apple from that Black Eyed Peas song called Legend with Illmind. I did that a while ago, but it came out this year. We shot a video. I went to LA to perform, and my connection is this guy named Double J. He's an A&R. He worked with me years ago when I was doing music at Kevin Federline's crib. So, man, I got beats from everybody from this guy. My man Jay Anderson. He's Jamal Anderson's brother, a football star that we all know, and he might be one of the illest beat managers that I've ever met. Like he always got heat. Like I sat down with him in LA for 2 hours, and I heard 20 songs, 20 beats, and I loved 18 of them. Like I did my whole album like that. So when he sits down with producers, he picks out the best beats, puts them all together on a CD, and then he displays it, you know, he manages it and plays it for artists. So this might be the fitting room for me.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate with that. And then a lot of the beats that I did in LA, I constructed my rhyme to the beat. Like, you know, I tailored it to the beat. And then recently they sent me another beat, and I had a rhyme, and I said it to it, and it sounds incredible to it. So it kind of fit. You know what I'm saying? I
was gonna ask that kind of question too. Like, so sometimes it's when you go in the fitting room, you might say, I'm gonna try this on. So there's beats that you've heard, and you were like, I don't really know about this joint, but I'm a rhyme to it, and then you was like, I see where this is going. This sound fire.
Yeah. I think I did like about 25 tracks out there, and then I might have had 2 songs already written that I just put to the beat, and it sounded perfect. But to me, I think the best experience is writing to the beat, because you kind of like, you get in pocket with the beat. But you know, sometimes, like for instance, you write a rhyme. Sometimes we write a rhyme to an instrumental,
Yeah.
and you got that little freestyle rhyme just in case, whatever. I got a few of those. You know, we had those in our head, and just in case you're with Kweli or I'm with Ray, somebody says, "Yo, get on and spit something to an instrumental." You got to
Yeah.
be ready, and then you got to make sure that you could float. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
those are the you know, the dynamics to having written rhymes already ready.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess it's wild because that leads into this question that I have here, and that deals with this sneakers and shoes, right? So when you're saying you have a verse and this rhyme, and it's kind of like, it can kind of, you're in your head thinking about how it can fit something. I think that's how we kind of approach having sneakers and shoes, and it can be boots or whatever the case, footwear. Like, yo, I'm gonna rock those. Those go with everything. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have a pair of sneakers that you can be like, yo, those go with everything. I think nowadays though, it's less about matching. Remember, I know coming up, it was like, if that color don't go with that color, we not rocking it. Now I think it's more about style and comfort, if anything. So what do you think as far as the shoes being almost like the main thing that can almost sell the whole outfit, kind of put the outfit together in a verse? What would be considered the thing that seals the deal for the outfit, like a good pair of sneakers? Like the hook?
Man, I would say the hook is the most important thing. That's your sneakers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the outfit. If we doing a metaphor of how dressing goes,
Yeah.
the hook. And with me, I'm not gonna front. I'm one of those guys, and it's like works opposite for me. If I'm doing a hook for me, it's like breaking my brain. I do a hook for somebody else, it comes out like 100. But yeah, the sneakers are your hook, because your hook is definitely, like I said, I feel like us being lyricists, lyrical, you know, dudes, we tend to stay on the verses. But that hook is what it's called, the hook, for a reason. It's to grab you. And I think the hook is one of the most important things of the song, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, if you see a fire pair of sneakers, you build the whole outfit around that. So if I got my hook, which is the sneakers, I'm like, all right, now I got the hook. Let me write these verses, which is what we were talking about earlier. Let me figure out what's gonna go with these pair of sneakers, what's gonna go with this hook. So now I can figure out, am I going on the metaphorics? You know, am I going to do metaphor similes? Am I just going into some heartfelt stuff and things like that? So I would say for me too, the most important part of the outfit when creating a song would definitely have to be the hook. So I mean, sneakers is going for some bananas prices today.
Oh
So,
man, yeah.
And you know, like we do know, you can sell, if you selling a song, if you got the hook right, and you could just sell a hook and make more money from probably selling the hook than the verses, because everybody knows that's more important than the verses.
1000%. You know, a song is built with the hook, because you know, I learned this from other artists and listening to other artists and trying to get that stadium love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I say Kanye West is brilliant for that. You know, he's one of the best artists out there. Nobody really mentions him, but he is top notch. Has songs that got you singing. You know, wait till I get my money right. Oh,
Yeah.
that you play that record, the whole nightclub is saying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the whole stadium is singing it back, because it's just it's very easy, and it's what people are dealing with right now. Wait till I get my money right, because basically everybody that's around is not a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? In that crowd, you know, you might have one or two or three of them, but there's people out there still struggling. So the hook is so important. Very much.
That's why you bring that up. I wanted to talk about that. Also, when you're creating a song, right? It's almost like when you're listening back in the studio, it's almost like looking in the mirror to make sure the outfit's straight. So you listening back to the lyrics and you're trying to make sure like, all right, this is a go. This is a go. So how do you know when you're writing a song if the outfit is straight basically, or where to revise at? What's the revision process? So how do you know when to change something?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like we're talking about earlier, I work out 4 or 5 days out of the week and I'm listening to music. So I actually walk like maybe 6 to 7 miles a day. I walk to the gym, walk back, and I have my headphones on. So the night before I was in the studio, I'm listening to that song. And I'm listening to that song repetitively until like I'm saying, okay, that sounds like everything. And then there's one line, the way I said it, I don't like the way that sounds. I gotta redo that. You know what I'm saying? Or the whole verse doesn't sound the right tone. I've done that before where I said, yo, let me redo the whole verse. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Because for us, you know, you got to be happy with your own work in order for you to send it out to the world. You know what I'm saying? I can never say, you know, I gotta listen to my record like 100,000 times before I say, yeah, this is a go. You know what I'm saying? To put it out as a single or whatnot. That's how I work with my music.
Yeah, so, I sometimes think we are our best mirrors, but then sometimes you need somebody while you trying that outfit on to be your mirror too. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta, you know, I have 2 or 3 friends that I send records to, and I listen to them like, yo, this is fire. Oh, I don't like this. You know, they'll tell me the truth because I don't want no yes man around me for anything. So, you know, sometimes I'll be in the studio with one of my peoples or whatever, and I'll ask, and the engineer, we always talk back. You know what I'm saying? I got a good engineer named shout to Slim Studio in Bushwick. Slim been engineering for many years. That's another like facet in this recording game where it's with me, I need a good engineer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Good engineer that you have that, then you know you're putting the pieces together to this puzzle of a song to make it right. You got a good engineer, he's gonna figure out how to EQ your voice and everything, especially when mixing it down, what to do. He also got input, like you said. You know, you need that around you. And, you know, yourself is not, so I need that around me.
Yeah, I think the engineers get overlooked a lot. Man, coming up, I think a lot of engineers didn't get the credit they deserved, but they not even on the fact of just like recording us, but I think we were so young, we didn't even understand the value of time we were taking from them. Bro, right? They got to sit there. There's some engineers that, you know, there's some sessions where there were engineers and people hadn't even shown up. They just let the engineer bake there for hours. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like they don't get the recognition. That's why I shout my man out, and I always have this conversation with him because, you know, there's so many people trying to do this, right? And I laugh with him. I'm like, yo, you be having these type of guys? He goes, bro, I'll be with an artist for like 20 minutes just doing one line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then here I come and I do a verse in 2 takes or one, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it'd be like that. But that's because, of course, we're seasoned. We haven't done this. We've been doing this for 35 years. Like, this is not it's embedded in us, you know, the work. But yeah, man. And just shout out to all the engineers out there.
You got respect your engineer. Once you go in that studio, respect the engineer's time. The same way you got a family, they got a family. The same way they're trying to make their money and keep moving. I think you have to respect the engineer. So yeah, shout out to all the engineers out there that been in the studio for hours waiting for that verse to get done. Just sitting there doing it and mixing and everything else. All right, so this is something that when we were younger, I would have never thought this, first of all, right? Because we came up with the Slick Ricks, the Canes, the Rockhams, all of that, right? But at some point, when we were rocking in the 90s, at some point, when they got commercial and they started mentioning luxury things, and stuff like that, then if you were underground, it almost felt like a divide of even mentioning anything that dealt with luxury. But that's always been the essence of the game with us, like as far as hip hop in general. So like, um, I don't know, like why did that divide happen? I was always, I mean, I know why, because I guess people chose a side, but I always felt it was dumb, to be real with you, right?
I
Right? You
mean,
know, like we would be rhyming at that time, but then people would like, I can't mention a Mercedes. Now I'm just cutting that out of my bars. But we grew up with hip hop, and bragging was the core thing right there.
I mean, you're talking about a time of basically the essence of poverty, where hip hop came from. You know what I'm saying? And then when the 80s and 90s started going, I mean, the best time was probably when Kane and Rakim came into play, because they brought that luxury look. You know what I'm saying? And then it was Gold Ropes, Dapper Dan, Fendi, Gucci. You know what I'm saying? But remember, Dapper Dan came and took fabrics and made their own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we kind of remixed it the same way we were sampling beats from James Brown. He sampled beats from the Italian designers and everything, and took that and made our clothes. To fast forward in 2020, he came back and they used his designs on a runway. You know how crazy that is?
I know. I just watched I believe it was CBS Morning interview with him. What I think is ill about it too is what you mentioned in like the history of it, right? And all these artists starting like that is when we got to that 90s era and they started breaking with the commercial versus underground. If you really think about it, it was a lot of like, I think it held us back from just kind of joining forces and making great music. And I also think, if you really think about it, the fashion things that we were kind of shunning, whether it's cars and things that people bragged about luxury, everybody on their feet though was still trying to wear the hottest expensive sneakers. So we still, it's like contradictory.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
there's a contradiction with that. You know what
There
I'm
was a
saying?
contradiction.
But, it was just like the vision was like, okay, Mace and Puff is talking about this, Biggie was talking about Versace, but you got to remember, fashion always has a turn where it changes. Everything changes, kind of like well, with New York City being, and I always say this with New York because the word New York, right? So new is always going to be the thing about everything. So I just remember being into breakdancing, and then out of nowhere, like 86 turned, and everybody's like, yo, that's done, man. That's played out. You couldn't catch somebody breakdancing in 86, 87. It's the new shit. We're whopping, we're doing this dance, we're wearing this. So it's always been like that with kind of fashion in a way. But it always goes around sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, we've been in this game for like 4 decades, saying 80s, 90s, 2000s, where we at right now. And we've seen the whole change of music and fashion at the same time. So it's just like, it's always coming from New York. It's always about what's new, in my opinion. And that's why things change. Like, they'd be like, yo, we're not wearing that no more, Like now, the kids are wearing baggier pants. Meanwhile, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it was straight legs, skinny leg jeans and everything. And now the kids is wearing baggy jeans like we were wearing in the 90s,
Right. So then how do you see, you just went into the trends. So how do you stay up to date with the trends? We did that in fashion. You got to keep up to date with the trends in fashion, right? Like you just stated. So then in music, it's similar. So how do you stay up to date with the trends in music and things like that? Like listening, or how do you keep yourself up to date with the new?
Yeah, I'm always out. So I'm out and about. And so when you're out, depending on where you're going, in New York City especially, you have your young scene. The drill music is what's in, the reggaeton is in, the music is always in, but our music always stands kind of like a classic sound of boom bap hip hop, you know what I'm saying? But it's good music, you know what I'm saying? So if you put on a record, like for instance, like Nas's Life's a bit, you know what I'm saying? Life's a bitch, right?
Right.
It's music to me. It doesn't really sound like it's like putting in a box, you know what I'm saying? That's what I like to say about what we do. But of course, you always got you gotta write, and I like to say this, you gotta write certain current things. I don't like to do that a lot because it always puts you in a dated box sometimes with certain, if you're doing a verse and you say, yo, you know, like I'm illa, I make you choke like Reggie Miller. You know what I'm saying? That would be good 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Advise as you saying it now. So depending on whoever it is, me as a writer, I try to stay away from doing those type of similes because it dates the song sometimes. But if it sounds really good, then it's gonna stand, because like you could say the same thing for Biggie saying, blow up like the World Trade. That was like 1990, you know, 2 or whatever. And you hear it now, and it still sounds okay. Just depending on what you say in certain ways where you can stay on the trend, you know? And music wise too. I mean, you know, you're not gonna come in with a song like the same way as like the hard, you know, you're not gonna do that type of thing right now in 2024, you know, keeping it current, but you know, it's on the individual also. Like, where do you want to place yourself? Because it wouldn't be, if you saw me drop a video with drill music, what would you think?
I mean, to be honest with you, if it's fire, it's fire. For me, that's how I roll. That's how I roll. I keep it 100. I roll like that. I also look at things differently because I guess because I'm matured through the music business with it. So more so, doing a drill song necessarily could be used for TV or movies. It don't necessarily has to be on your album. So that's another way of thinking about it from a musical, a music business standpoint. So I don't really delve into that unless it may be like, if it's a whole album of that, I may be like more critical. Like I need to hear some of the essence of the person too. But I don't really knock that depending on what the business moves are behind it. So for me to keep up to date with what's going on, a lot of times I do get sent links of people. People text me. People might tag me to an Instagram post on Facebook. Punch will send me stuff. Me and Punch send each other freestyles on Instagram and the DM all the time. Like, yo, check this person out, check her out, check him out.
Yeah, that's the way.
So that's the way I stay up to date with the trends and the fashion of what's going on with a lot of these artists. But I try to look at it from a perspective of, I'm not just a rapper. I'm more of I'm a songwriter more so now than I would probably say when I was younger. I think I was a rapper. Now I'm a songwriter, so I get hired to write everything, right? So if you're a clothing brand, you're not just gonna make shirts, you know. You got to know how to make socks. Everything. You need to paint everything. So that's how I equate the music game to everything like that.
I'm outside, so I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? As far I'm out and about, so you know, I definitely absorb it like that. And the internet, right? So the internet and, you know, me being outside, seeing it for what it is, going to parties and clubs and, you know, events, you know what I'm saying? I'm always, you know, in the mix in that realm, and that's how I stay up with the latest stuff.
All right, so speaking of events, right? Do you see a runway similar to like a music release party, right? Because at the runway, you got the new outfits. Somebody coming out, dropping what's new, what's about to be released, right? So now,
yo, you're crazy.
So a music release party is the same, right? It's the artist, and they're gonna have the new songs playing. So your reaction, you react to the song, yo, that's hot, that outfit come out, that's fire. So when you've been in this world of both, right? So what is it like for you when you're seeing similar to seeing some new fly walk out on a runway? And I think you've been on a runway before, right? Have you?
Yes,
you've been on a runway before, right?
Yes, I did it was a 1998 Echo Unlimited from Mark Echo. A few heads was there. My man Mos Def was in there, Rich Medina. You know, who else was in there? My boy Mike from Frank 151. You know, bunch of youngsters just getting on the runway that were, we were hot at that time, and it was a dope experience getting paid just to walk down the thing, like my
Right.
first, you know what I'm saying, people looking at me, clapping and giving and being part of the fashion. And then that opened up door where I was getting boxes every month of clothes, man. I'll never forget that time. That was such a dope era. The whole fashion at that time broke in, because if you're an artist,
Right.
the best way to do promotion is to give the artist clothes. And we're like, yo, I don't have to spend money on clothes. I'm just gonna wear this.
That's a fact. I like to shout out Grateful. They sent me this. This is and I love the message of it. So I told them, I love the fact, because I'm grateful for moments like this with us. But yes, back then
that enabled me to get a deal with Willie Esco and do
talk about that. Talk about that a little bit, about Willie Esco and your affiliation with that.
Just being around in the circle of the hip hop events and music. You would always collide with these brothers, and I got to meet with this guy named Paul Estevez, and he was like, yo, come up to the office. And back then it was like all these Mecca, all these things were like, yo, come up to the office, we're gonna lace you with stuff, and then when you get on stage, we're gonna get the look. You know what I'm saying? And that happened with me with Willie Esco. I came up to the office, and we took a liking to each other. Of course, he's a Puerto Rican Latino, and he was probably one of the only Latinos that have a clothing brand. And then, he merged with Nas Esco. So it was just like a perfect timing. And they saw me like, yo, word, you're dope. We're gonna open up this music label. We want to sign you. And I was like, word? I was like, yo, this is okay. So they actually before that happened, they would do this thing called the Magic Show.
Okay.
And Magic Show, if you guys don't know, it's a convention where buyers and sellers meet in Vegas, and they fulfill their inventory to sell.
We do like orders. That's where you get your orders,
that's
right?
where you get your orders. So it was just instead of it was just like it was a perfect place for everybody to meet. So they would go for a week, and these street brands will build these luxurious friggin' stages. I say booths.
Yeah.
And within that, you brought entertainment. So I brought my boy DJ Camilo. We put a DJ set, speaker, a mic, and guess who was rapping freestyle at 3 p.m.? Yours truly, wearing the Esco. And I did that for like 3 years, man. They were paying me to come out there to do that. And as that was progressing, the music label came about. And I got to deal with Willie Esco back then. Shouts to Willie Esco, Richie Bravo, my man Paul Estevez, and everybody with the team that was down.
Shout to Bravo. So that, so then how is that as far as like when you're collaborating, right? So y'all just collaborated there. How is that similar to when you're in the studio? What is it like for you to collaborate? Looking at it from the standpoint of what you just said, how brands collaborate, fashion collaborates with music and artists. When you're in the studio, what's your vibe on collaborating to get the best product? So, or do you like collaborating? Because some of these brands, right? We had Adidas and Run DMC. Adidas and Gucci got something done. I think they got something with Pharrell, Travis Scott, and Nike, and things like that.
Yeah, no.
When you're doing music, do you kind of look at it similar as far as that person's style fits with mine? So let's collaborate here. Do you look for styles or?
No. I mean, collaborations are always going to be great, because think about it. Each artist is a brand, right? So it's AL, and then there's the artist from Colombia named Lil Nandes, right? So these are people that I know, but I have a fan base. They have a fan base. We do a record together. Now, well, guess what? My fan base is going to him. His fan base is going to me. It's growth. So collaborations are always going to be good, in my opinion, because what you're doing is you're expanding people to see something new and to be like, oh, yo, I never heard of this guy. Oh, word? Okay, I'm gonna look into this guy. And that's why collaborations are good. you know, and of course I'm not collaborating with anybody. They gotta be dope too. So like, you know what I'm saying? The same way that you know, Adidas and Gucci, they did a collaboration, and I got a couple of those pieces, and those pieces are beautiful to me. I mean, they did great quality stuff, and to have two brands that are such of a house name to do something together is dope. And brought two people to come together, you know, two different brands and two different fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fan base. That's why collaboration is always great, in my opinion. You know, you don't want to just be in Brooklyn, bro. I want to be in Japan. I want to be worldwide. This world is so much bigger than just where you're from. You just want to have fans everywhere, and that's what brings you to becoming a bigger artist, by having to do collaborations. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I think it is like fashion, because that person's style, the way they do their thing, the way they say their flow, the way that, you know, the flow might be tailored, the way that they might write their bars, it might be just like, yo, the way they write their bars could be different. Like, yo, I'm gonna do this arrangement. The arrangement of their songs could be different. And I think a lot of times when you collaborate, it can upgrade each other. You can upgrade each other. I mean, of course, there's sometimes collaborations that you're like, oh, I don't really like that, this and that. But I would say it's always good to hear those people collaborate and seeing different styles. So I got this question. This is kind of like, I know earlier you mentioned Dapper Dan, you know, so it's kind of like we're about to be like Rapper Dans in a minute right here, and we're gonna get into like our top 5 artists with style. So now this can deal with style of the way they rap, or it could be the way they dress. I was thinking about this, man. These top 5 situations, man.
Yo, you know, this is very special to me too, because I am this. You know what I'm saying? This is me. This is me. I'm gonna give you my favorite top 5 of all time. I'm gonna go with Rakim first and most. Eric B and Rakim. To this day, you know what they did with Dapper Dan, their outfits, their covers. You know the album covers were very special to us.
Yeah.
Videos, visuals are so important. So Ra had that, you know, of course he had the, you know, the flat top, you know what I'm saying? The gold ropes, the heavy chains, the truck jewelry.
All that.
And then he had the, you know, as far as like the cover for Follow the Leader, when he had the MCM, that leather jacket, that shit was,
man, listen.
Serious. That shit's next level. So Ra and combining with his rap style, he's one of my favorites. So it's Rakim.
Okay.
I will go with Big Daddy Kane. Now his introduction comes up with the silk suits. He was a classy dresser, Bally shoes.
Smooth operator.
He's the epitome of that Don, the Donism. You know what I'm saying? Back then, when you used to go out to clubs, I remember you had to wear shoes. You know what I'm saying? We had to wear shoes. You had to look presentable. So Kane definitely brought that to the game. You know what I'm saying? My third favorite would probably Nas. We're talking 90s. You know,
yeah.
He's my mirror image of what we was wearing in the 90s, and he did it to a T. You know, he brought out in the halftime, he had the Kango with the flaps on it. Yo, you know, I had that. We had that, the fatigue, the army lining.
The army jacket.
The army jacket and the army lining, the Timbs. He used to also wear polo too. He's definitely like an icon with dressing. Then I go with Biggie too. Biggie has a big influence in the bigger person. Now get you. As far as it goes,
that's big. That's a big point you made there. That's a great point.
So he's basically, he went against all odds. You know what I'm saying? Black and ugly. However, I stay Gucci down to the socks, rings. Come on, bro. You can't explain yourself and say, yo, that dude is not what we look to for as a model, but he's the model for this look. So if you're big, you get yourself a Gucci sweater, 5XL, whatever it is, but put it on. And he was one of the guys that did that.
Would you say that also kind of bigs up Heavy D being having the hooks, even because the other day I was at a party and my boys playing old school hip hop and the overweight lover in the house. I was like, yo, that's so crazy. Back then, even he's up there like just appreciating it, like whatever. I'm overweight, I'm fly, I'm still that dude, the overweight lover in the house. Like
shout out to Heavy D. I got to meet him. Another great soul, bro. Really, really good contributor to hip hop. He's in the class with himself, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He definitely had style. He definitely was one of those stylish brothers too.
So you got 4 so far. We got
4.
we got Rakim, Kane, Nas, Big.
And then damn man, it's kind of tough because I'm back and forth with
Remember, you can do it's either or clothing or style, influence.
I mean, both. I gave you both. I picked those because basically I have tailor myself to them.
I got you.
I might. Damn, it's tough. I might put in Tupac there for fashion.
Man, this is one of my second. Well, not my second episode, but this is another episode in which of someone I've interviewed when we do these top 5 things. Tupac gets brought up. So yeah, elaborate on Tupac.
Listen to me. Tupac took on. He did runway with Versace.
Yeah.
He went on the runway with Versace. So his sight of what was fly, he already had it. Like, yo, I'm gonna wear it. You know what I'm saying? He has this one silk shirt that I'm still looking for myself for personal collections that I've been looking for. Hopefully I get it. But it's a picture of him in his silk shirt that I love a lot. And to me, he definitely is a stylish brother, whether it was wearing that or wearing the 40 belows in Juice, you know what I'm saying? Wearing the hardcore, the hip hop look that he had. But to me, he definitely had a style. I mean, those are probably my top 5 guys that I look to as far as style. Shout out to Raekwon. He's another maybe honorable mention that I like because he kind of gave the birth of the polo stuff in essence. That, and I'm gonna mention another group called Ziggy from Uptown in Brooklyn.
All right. That's a tight list. And these are these lists that there's no real, they're not in order. So this anybody thinking like we're just trying to, and we probably could go with 20 more people. For me, I'm gonna rock with Rakim as well because that cover, the Dapper Dan can't front on the cover with that. Rakim has style in both worlds. He has style on the mic, style when dressing as well. So that knocks that out. And I also had Kane on my list because the smooth operator, the haircut was flat top was always fire, chains, and then like you said, he made me. I think that's the first time I probably saw a video with somebody dressed like that, shooting pool, rapping hard like that too, and getting away with it, smooth like that. Now this one, I'm going on the style of on some rapping stuff, and I know I got 3 slots, y'all. I'm not getting everybody in there. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. It's not gonna get everybody in there. And I'm gonna miss some people, but I'm going off of certain people. Sometimes I don't want to miss their input. Das Effects.
Ooh.
Das Effect.
Good choice. They brought the gritty champion hoodie, fatigue, and the boots. I guess I would give them the 40 belows. They was the first to really have that essence. Like, yo, you gotta have your 40s. When you seen that video, you're like, oh, I gotta get my 40s. The real baggy jeans, the big baggy look.
Tell me, man. Tell me about it, brother. You know what it was. Because not only did they come out with a style and you saw the outfits and the duality of them both rocking it, so it made them like a group, but also the flow, that style. Nobody had that style. Then some of the biggest artists were doing that style. LL was doing it on 14 Shots to the Dome. Kane did it too as well. People started, they made people say, I got to change my flow to try this here. So that's where I'm going with that one right there. So shout to Das Effects. My number 4, I thought about this too, and I would say man, I might have to go with like Fabulous. Fabulous.
He been turning up for the past maybe 15 years. Like he definitely I mean, but you know, it's like, to me, Fab is from Brooklyn. He got that low life look, you know what I'm saying, a polo. So when you come from that realm, we always try to, like, you know, put it together the right way. So Fab definitely, I was thinking about him too.
Fab wears, I mean, some of the most iconic outfits that we've seen at times. And you go, if you're on his gram, you can see that he's really into fashion and style. But not only that, Fabulous, at one point, people was trying to make this Mace comparison, and to me, he made sure that his style became his style. So you don't even make that comparison no more. But he's dope in both lanes with that. So I picked Fab. Then for the last one for me, I'm gonna take this to a personal fan friend favorite. I'm gonna go with Thurston, low life representative. You know, Thurston Howell III, on the basis of wearing polo is like just part of your outfit in hip hop. And a lot of that really had to do with the popularity that he added on to it, to the point Ralph Lauren recognizes who he is and put him in his book and on billboards and on buildings in Dubai and things like that.
Yo, that guy right there, bro. The day that I remember meeting him and you know, seeing the videos, and there's this one, I think, how low can you go, I guess. And he said he got polo cigarettes from
Listen.
It's over. I don't want to talk no more.
He got polo rugs. He got polo rugs. Anything that you name, Thurston has that item, and he's very iconic in hip hop for that. And every artist knows of him. If they haven't met him, they know that that's the staple that he brings to the culture with that. And you know, not to mention, he has tons of albums. So the impact of him on a fashion world and then also lyrical is in there. Honorable mention for me, I would probably say Big, because when Big came out, the Cool G, listen, when Big came out, everybody knew that they albums changed. He made our favorites change their albums. He made them dress in these Cool Gs. He made whatever he was wearing, he made them wear. So that's where I am.
Can I say one honorable too?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say Kanye West.
Okay, I can say that because he merged it, right? He's the bridge.
He's the king. He's the king of that happening, being able to, like, you know, be on the fashion tip, and then he was on his high end for I guess his, like, the beginning of his career, to the point where he became that fashion guy, bro. People are buying, you know, he's a billionaire off of sneakers. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, you know. So Kanye definitely gets my vote as one of the stylish guys from our time till now, because his day, you know what I'm saying, kids is waiting online to get this in, and you know, he breaks the internet when he drops something, the internet breaks. So Kanye West is definitely up there with style and fashion for me.
Yo, so man, I appreciate having you, man. It's been great, like, just listening and talking about this and knowing that we came from the same era and watching how you evolved and how we've evolved and just how we just be talking about everything and anything under the sun. I do want to ask another question. Tell us about, all right, most people, when I'm doing interviews, I'm doing interviews, I get asked about Lyricist Lounge show, of course. I get asked about Lyricist Lounge album. But that Lyricist Lounge album, Volume 1, I get asked about, yo, what's up with AL Skills, that Lyrics I Need You? When you were writing Lyrics I Need You, what was your mindset like? If you kind of can go back to when you were writing it.
You know, that song is crazy, because that song was done when I did that song, and I'm remembering, like, when I got the beat, I fell in love with the beat, and it felt like it's a melodic beat, and it feels like it's a soft beat, but at the same time, I pour in my emotion of what I was dealing with, certain lines, but it it's a usage of words basically that you know saying. So if you listen to it, you
Right.
know, you go back to the lyrics. It's me trying to just expand as much as I can with words using. How can I make this rhyme be like, yo, you bodied it. You know what I'm saying? You said it,
Yeah.
and that's what I always get with people. You know, I've gotten stopped at and told about it. I read comments on the song and everything, but at that time I was trying to write probably the illest verses ever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was going to be a compilation album, so you knew other people were submitting
but
songs.
you know, but that song was on my demo. Words.
Oh, I didn't
That's,
know that.
that song wasn't made for the lounge. That song was on my demo. I
Oh,
never
okay.
forget. I went
Yeah,
on.
I didn't know that.
All right, so to get you the story, I had that. Shout to Kenny Diaz, Ken Do,
Shout out to
aka
Kenny.
Ken Do, my brother. I love you to death. You know, we was working, and he had this beat, and you know, I went home, I wrote it, I had it done, and I recorded it, and I kept recording joints, and I had like 4 or 5 songs that I had as a tape thing, and I was ready to show labels. Remember back then, you were like, "Yo, I got my demo. I'm ready
Yeah,
to, you know, ready to go. Let's get this meeting going. Who do I
running
talk
around
to?"
town.
So basically, that song, I sat down with Danny Castro and I gave him a copy,
Okay.
and they listened to it, and then they called me back probably maybe a week later, and they were like, "Yo, I want you to come in. We want to talk to you about one song on there." And I never forget. I went there, and I remember this like yesterday. They wanted to change it. They wanted me to cut the second verse because it was too long. Because the second verse is like maybe 30, 40 bars.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was like, nah, I don't want to change it. I think it's perfect. I think it's
yeah.
because if you change that, then you're cutting off what I really wanted to say and what I wanted to do. Because I go into the sporadic flow that at that time nobody was really kind of doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe after that, because I know that song probably Pun was in the same realm, but that rhythmatic, automatic, fanatic, bringing the static, rappers stay panic, stay frantic, while I relax on having solid, gigantic, volcanic, you know. So that abundance of me doing that flow was to cut that off. I was like, yo, you might as well just throw the song away. And
Right.
and I kept fighting, like kind of like they were like, yo, we want you to do it. I think I went into the studio to do something like that. And it just didn't work out. But they said, you know what, we're keeping it like it is, and that's that. And that song was picked for that album. And here we are, what, 28 years later.
Mad long, man. Mad
Man,
long ago.
you
But
keep asking, I could probably
and
see the video.
you I still get asked about it. You know, as a rapper, you do compilation albums and stuff like that with artists. I'm on that album, but I would probably say like your song is probably the best song on that album. I don't have no like ego to be like, yo, but our song, nah. If it's from what I get, that might be the consensus that song is the best song on that album. So you know,
that touches me a lot, and I'm very humbled about it. And coming from you, you know what I'm saying, and coming from my peers, because you know, in this game, like the most important thing that you want to do is to get people like yourself to say, yo, that song is dope. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That is my victory to making art, you know, and having people that I respect look up to me and say, yo, that's dope. And you know, it's one of my prize moments, I say. You know, that song was also in a soundtrack to a movie because I actually licensed it off.
Okay.
You know,
I didn't know that neither.
yeah, it's in a movie called Boricua's Bond, and in the movie and on the soundtrack.
Okay.
So, you know, shouts to Kenny Diaz and shouts to Dan Castro and Ant for picking it. And to everybody that loves the song, you might see a video. I don't know. You keep
I think today you could do a video for anything you've done. It don't matter when it came out or not. So I think people would appreciate it. Thanks for coming through, brother. You know, I think a lot of people will be happy that we've done this because they ask me like, yo, what's up with yo, Lyrics I Need You is my favorite. I'll be like, yo, check his gram. Now they get to check and watch the episode. So yo, let us know what you're up to, the acting, if you modeling, everything you got going on, and what's your handles, your Instagram, where should we check for you? Somebody want a verse, whatever. Let us know.
we at Instagram is all lyrical. It's AL, formerly as AL Skills that everybody says and stuff. as of now, I'm dropping an album. Finally, it's been in it works for a couple of years, but I'm finally putting out an album called Lyrics, and it's gonna be on my Instagram. I'm definitely putting a release date, probably July, end of June or something. But we're in the works. I'm 98% done with the album, so
Dope,
just
dope.
mixing and mastering, and then I gotta shoot visuals. But that's nothing. I'm
I
there.
heard some. Are those songs that I heard when I was last time in Brooklyn? The car you played, are those on
Yeah,
there? Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I like those. I like those.
First single called Forrest Gump. So wait till you hear that. You're gonna like that. I shot a video for it.
I saw some clips. I saw some clips of that on your gram.
Yeah. I'm kind of like really excited and proud about creating. And as I get better as a songwriter, I'm getting better as a visual, director. Because like you wanna when you do your songs and you're visualizing to do a video, I'm always gonna incorporate my thoughts on what it is. You know what I'm saying? What I should have out there. So this is where I'm at right now with what I want to do. I'm directing all my stuff. I'm telling the director what to do. Shout out to my man Sergio. He's a great director. He actually did this song called Frank White, which was my tribute to Biggie with Daisy Lane.
I
Which
like
one
that.
of that one of my joints that I visualized and I put together. He was able to put it, on the screen or whatnot, but I kind of like wrote the whole treatment to that. You know what I'm saying?
Dope, man. Yo, thanks for coming through. Everybody, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate your time. We know your time is valuable. So I ask you, what are your words worth? Peace.
One.
Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see. Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. Shout out to our sponsor, the Wizker. If you're into skincare, the Wizker will help prevent razor bumps and make sure you got smooth skin all around. Make sure you order it on Amazon, the Wizker. Make sure you check out wordsworthproductions.com. There you can book me if you want to book me for shows, consultations, panels, and things of that nature. And also, it'll give all the upcoming shows that I'll be attending or performing at or appearing at as well. Wordsworthproductions.com. We write plays, books, movies, anything that deals with writing and creativity. Contact us.